Have you heard about the stop-motion film Mad God? Stop-motion animation has always been one of my favorite versions of animation. It takes a lot of patience, understanding of lighting, and framing of the camera. It takes a lot of pre-production and building out these worlds and stories before you even begin filming anything. It's just incredible, and that's why I think the story behind Mad God is just as insane as the story that's on screen. One of the top specialists in the field is Phil Tippett. He fell in love with stop-motion thanks to Ray Harryhausen's work in movies like Jason and the Argonauts and The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Phil Tippett would end up in the business creating aliens for Star Wars. He also did special effects for movies like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Starship Troopers, but one of the biggest pivot points in his career was Jurassic Park. He'd created a ton of tests with stop motion, but Steven Spielberg opted to not use Tippett's animation, and instead moved to computer graphics and large-scale animatronics. I'm not pinning Steven Spielberg as the bad guy here. In fact, I think that Jurassic Park is one of those few films that even decades later, the special effects and computer graphics still look as good as they once did. But this left Phil Tippett feeling like maybe stop-motion animation wasn't going to be around much longer. At the same time that he was working on Jurassic Park, he came up with this idea for a story called Mad God, but discouraged from the work he'd done on Jurassic Park, he ended up shelving it for another 20 years. He was encouraged to pick it back up, and thanks to volunteers helping him with a Kickstarter campaign raising the funds to create it, Mad God is 100% made completely independent, and it would end up on a select few movie screens in 2022, 30 years after he'd come up with the idea. After 10 years of production, the film was out, and it ended up winning the Ray Harryhausen Award for Best Feature Film. That just led him full circle back to his childhood, where he won an award named after his childhood hero. I think this proves the point that you shouldn't be discouraged to do what you want just because of some outside influence, because you might not make that great thing that you were intended to make. And if you haven't seen Mad God, and you're into horror, or you're into kind of dark storytelling, and especially stop-motion animation, go check it out. It's worth a watch.